Good morning, everybody. Time now for Around the County, brought to you by your friends at Joe Hill's Power Sports and Outdoor Equipment and by Area 1 Realty. Gives a chance for Nelson County Judge Executive Tim Hutchins and guest, as we have today, to talk about what's going on around our county, Nelson County. Good morning, Judge.
Ross, good morning. And today we've got, first of all, we want to thank the Area 1 Realty for sponsoring this show, and Joe Hill's Power Sports for sponsoring the show, or it wouldn't be able to do it because you have to make a living. And so they, I thank both of them for being able to get the message out to the community. And so today we got Keith Metcalf, District 1 Magistrate. Keith, you've been magistrate for about going into what, 16 years, 15?
Yes, sir. 15 going into 16, yes, sir.
Yeah, he's almost caught me when I was a magistrate. I told him for 17 years. I got an extra year, so he said this is your fourth term. And so anyway, I got Keith on today, and anybody can call and or text 348-2222, 348-2222. We'd be glad to hear from you, and we just got any and everything we want to talk about. I think I've had all the magistrates on except for Keith. I believe I have. We continue to try to bring some people on from time to time and to see what's going on in the community. So,
Judge, we should remind them that you do have a court meeting tonight, different than the normal date of the month.
That's correct, 6 o'clock at the library. It's a special call meeting, so whatever's on the agenda is what we have to stay with, and we moved it around based on timing because different advertisements you got to post and make sure we hit all our deadlines and so on. So we'll meet at 6 o'clock tonight, and it will be live on Facebook and WBRT.
Ginger will be there.
And the Fiscal Court Facebook, and then people can always come back and listen to it after the fact on social media if they can't watch it live. So we've had a lot of I hear a lot of people talk about a lot of feedback since we started doing all this live in this show. Actually, I hear more and more people bring it up, which is a good thing. So the message of people's listening, and we probably have less attendance at the fiscal court meetings, personally, because I guess they can all watch it and stay at home, and I don't blame them, really. And, since you started with Ginger, that message is getting out. She's doing a good job, I think, for you, and a great job. And
yeah, thank you for hiring Ginger. She's number one.
I also got to say, Keith, I don't know if you've seen this yet. Nelson County Judge Executive Tim Hutchins, and I show that
Nelson County, we're in trouble. He's got his own glass.
Show that to the camera, because his beautiful wife, every time I walk in here, I'd go back in their cabinet like I own the place and get me a glass just like I am at home and bring me some water. And she noticed that, and she said, I'm going to get you a special glass. So here it is.
There it is.
So,
that's pretty cool.
Keith, if you come 4 straight times, which I don't know that he'll invite you, but we'll get you a glass.
4 straight times. Now, Ross has been doing some remodeling and putting new flooring down and counters and paint, and looks good. Everything looks good. I don't know if I give you any credit. I think the wife is doing most of it.
Same person you credited for the glass.
So anyway, so we got a lot going on, and Keith's district is mainly like, you can explain, Keith, where it's at if you want to.
Yeah, I've pretty much got the southern end of the district, of the county, and we're number one for a reason, because I feel like we do pretty good out in my district. We got Balltown, Culvertown, Greenbrier, New Hope, Hyerstown. I do come into town. I've got several places in town. As a matter of fact, where we're at right here, right now, is in my district. No, not this side. That side.
That side of the street? That
side of the street is my district. I'm sorry. I said that wrong.
Yeah, it breaks
this side's not. Yeah. This street divides our district line. Yeah.
New Haven.
I've been very honored to, New Haven. I've been very honored to be magistrate. I didn't know what quite to expect when I ran for this position, but I got to where I really, really like it. I like to help people, and I want the county to be a good county, and I think we've got a great county. And thank you all for having me today, and Tim, thank you for inviting me.
Well, if anybody's got any calls, excuse me, we just did, in his district, we've done, since I've been judge, several projects. You know, we started before I got here was with the help, especially with Senator Higdon and, of course, Keith and the previous court, and the road there in front of the distillery. What's the name of that road, Keith?
That's 52.
52.
Yeah, right.
Took that bad
D-head curve.
Yeah, took that bad curve out and got all that straightened up, and that was the state allocated up to $1 million. I think we stayed under about what, maybe 700,000 to 800,000.
Yeah.
So the fiscal court, the road department, they oversaw the project, and it turned out really good. And then when I came in, we worked on that road over by the cemetery. Took that curve out. I forget the name of the road.
New Hope Cemetery.
New Hope Cemetery.
Coon Hall.
And just recently, we took a bad hill out on Eddie Miles Road and kind of straightened it up, and it really helped the sight distance on that road. And so we've done a lot of good projects all over the county. We've done, like I say, several down in the south end, and then, of course, you know, we've had the mayor on here of New Haven, Linda, and they've been, that whole area down there is very thankful for this court. We've done a lot of work down in that area and visited them a lot and supported them a lot and took over their garbage. They had a lot of issues with the previous garbage carrier, and of course we did bulk items. We did 2 bulk items down there within a year's time, and so we've done a lot of work down in the south end. We've got several water projects. We've got a lot of internet projects coming up, and I hope that Charter starts Spectrum pretty soon. They're waiting on a lot of poles to be changed out. So,
And well, we also got the radio tower out at Culvertown Ballpark, and it's helped out a lot of internet and phone service around the New Haven, Culvertown, New Hope area.
And we've got two more tires that actually we're taking bids on.
Bid on those.
I think we've already advertised those. Going to be one down in Hardstown, and one of them's actually, it's right on the Marion County line, and the other one's is the other one in Holy Cross. You got one in Holy Cross, one in Hardstown, right?
Yes.
And what that does is help us on emergency services more than anything. You know, get the fire and the police and ambulances and dispatch to make sure we get more signals and a whole lot better coverage. It's needed. You know, we've got several more what I call tornado warning alarm sirens, whatever you want to call it. We've got 7, 8 more then to put up that we received from another county that's in really good shape. We'll be putting them up over the next, year or two, more and more of those. So we've got a lot going on, really.
Keith, do you, and Judge, just also, do you foresee any time ever that we'll be able to, I'll say, eliminate flooding or decrease it, or do you think it's just something that, it's going to have to live with and maybe do some alterations here and there?
I know when I first got elected in 2010, New Haven flooded. And then it hadn't flooded for a long time. And a couple years ago, it flooded again. But the railroad down there put some big culverts in. I didn't know this, I'm not an engineer, but they claim when they built BG Parkway, they built a dam. And it kind of held the water back on New Haven side. 52, when they built it, it was a road and it kind of held the water back because they had to bring it up for where the bridges were and all that. And then when the railroad, well, I guess the railroad may have been first, but the railroad, when it went through, it was kind of a dam also. Well, here lately, in the last, 8 or 10 years, they put some big culverts in underneath the railroad tracks, and it has really, really helped the flooding in my area. But I don't know, we just had this surprise rain, a year ago? Or 6 months ago? This year, yeah. And it flooded, Boston, it flooded New Haven, and, it's terrible. It's terrible for the families that get around that. I mean, I don't know. I kind of buy a little bit of real estate, and I stay away from flooded ground. I just don't see a future in it. I don't know. It's sad that they have to have that to their house.
I think when you talk, we've got that agreement, which we're going to have to update it now. The Corps of Engineers about cleaning those that river out and helping get some of the debris, and we think that will help some. Well, we know it's going to help some. as far as dredging and getting more and more into it, the Corps of Engineers has to get involved. And is there a way to prevent it 100%? I'd say I doubt it. Can they do a lot of remediation and help solve a lot of it? Like he said, I don't think that last flood, which was, I think, the worst one since, 97, they said. I believe it's what it was. And then, of course, you seen what happened in Boston. New Haven still wasn't as bad as Boston by far because it didn't get into residents. There was about, 4 businesses that got in down there, maybe
Yes,
4 or 5.
just a little bit, but it was enough to aggravate them, yeah. Enough to make them move out, yeah.
That's, of course, we've got, there's a lot of low-lying bridges and places around the county that it affected. I mean, it's not just those 2 areas. I don't know how we are on the public assistance. We've applied and filled out all kinds of paperwork. I think Brad Spalding and I know Brad Metcalf, both of them been working on it. And I don't know if we've got our final report turned in, but we're getting close. Mm-hmm. And we hope that we'll get, $2 million or more back, that we can go in and get Spalding Lane.
On the FEMA reimbursement?
Right.
Yeah.
Some of those things, we got the roads open, but it's still what I call temporary basis because they're not really built for long term. So we got to put in gabion baskets and pipes and drains and redo ditches and, of course, blacktop and relocate a couple roads around the county, or about 3 of them, I think. So it won't have this shifting and flooding and the whole, that one place down on Spalding Lane, the whole, I call mountain, is slid and that couple's lost their home.
We got like a 1.5 foot drop up there. I mean, it almost looks like a knife just cut the ground, and it's a 1.5 foot higher here and a 1.5 foot lower right here. And there's a residence right there, and it's affecting that house. Yeah. They can't close the doors.
Yeah, they moved out.
Yeah, they moved out.
So we'll see.
He didn't feel safe with his family in there.
We hope that we can get them we're working with them. I talked to the lady last week or week before last, and they didn't really qualify for any of the assistance through that program, but we're trying to work behind the scenes and hopefully get them some help, because that's, when you lose, and they can't build, I think they got 9 acres maybe, and
something like that.
They can't build on any of it, and
because it's all in the flood.
Well, it's not in the floodplain, but it's a slide.
It's a knob slide is what it is. And we went up behind the residence, probably 150 feet, and there's another line up there where the ground has shifted about 1.5 foot. Our county engineer, Brad Spalding, and I, and Brad Metcalf, and we had a EMA guy up there with us, and it's a pretty sad situation. I don't know how to stop it. I mean, the trees are all leaning. That's the way Brad Spalding told me. He said, Keith, just look at the trees. You can tell where the fault line is. And we was up there walking around that knob, and you could see some trees straight up. And then where the fault line was, they was probably leaning 4 foot at the top. And that's what led us to the fault line, and we found it.
When you're calling it the fault line, is it caused by rain or caused by ground shifting, which...
Well, I think it's a little bit of both. We had a bunch of big rain, and it caused this ground. Where else did we have that at? We had that on Hartstown Road about 6 years ago. Yeah, I think Jim Lameau was still our county engineer. And the riverbank comes in, and this is right beside a riverbank too. And it's hitting that wall, and when it's hitting that wall, it's taking all the gravel and dirt and everything, and then it's causing that hillside to just drop. Yeah. Yes, it's something. It's something to see it.
We've got one over in John Snow's district, similar, same way, maybe not as bad, but that's pretty bad. We're going to have to relocate that road, and we've got an agreement trying to get that shifted over and just build a road and move it over. But anyway, there's probably 3 or 4 that we have to do. It almost looks like a little mini earthquake, sort of, really, if you really want to try to identify it that way. But go ahead, Roth.
Well, let's take a break. We can hear from our sponsors and make this show possible each week, every Tuesday at 11. Those sponsors are Joe Hill's Power Sports and Outdoor Equipment and Area 1.
$3,799. 0% financing options are available. Don't forget Steel handheld power equipment. Starts easier, works smarter. finishes faster with America's #1 selling brand. Steel, available at Joe Hill's, powering your passion for over 70 years. Joe Hill's Power Sports and Equipment on the 245 bypass at Salem Drive.
We're back to Around the County with Judge Executive Tim Hutchins, and also joining us today, Magistrate Keith Metcalf. From the text line, 502-348-2222, it reads, Judge Tim, how do I get a ditch fixed? I plan every day to make an appointment to see you, but life takes hold and I don't get there. Anyway, I asked the supervisor of Nelson County Road Department if they fixed the ditch at the road. Trucks and tractors have dug it out. I cut the grass on the road, and this is Hobbs Lane, just past the church. The supervisor, this person says, has it marked, spray painted 2 to 3 years ago, and again, still looking for some help there on Hobbs Lane. And it doesn't say which church, but just past the church.
That's, I know exactly where it's at. It's a Baptist church up on the hill on Hobbs Lane. It comes off 509 there, yeah. I will, if they're listening, we'll get on it. I've got Brad Spalding, our engineer. It's not funny, but I've given him so much work since I've been here. It's just crazy, and he works so hard and late, and then he worked late last night and sent me emails and working on 2 more bridge grants. We've already received 4 for some county roads. I'm trying to get 2 more, and I think we'll probably get them, I hope. And so he's got to do a lot of the engineering side of it. That's the reason it's very important that we've got an engineer, 2 engineers on staff, because they do so much more work, so we won't have to outsource it, and which gives us a lot of delays. And when these grants, we got to have this one in next week, I think it is. Hit your deadlines with the state, so I've got them doing so much. We met yesterday, and they've really done a lot of work, because the rain, this rain, just like this situation here, this extra rain we've had has made it tougher to stay caught up. But I will address that, and we did buy some better equipment. We got a skid steer and a little mini excavator that we've never had, and man, we just get a lot more work done than we could. I mean, it just saves so much time. And anybody, and Keith's been in construction, and as well as me over the years, and if you got the equipment, it does several things. Really, it saves you manpower,
fuel, trucks,
and it saves you a lot of money. Really, long term, you might not see it on the short term, so it saves you labor, and you just get more things done.
The chipper that we bought. We used to have to pick the trees up when they'd go out with the bush hog and knock the limbs and stuff off. We'd have to pick them up and put them on a dump truck, and the dump truck would have to haul them to the quarry. We bought a chipper now, and they can blow it right back into the thing right there, right then, and it saves so much time. The loading, the unloading, the driving to the old quarry and dumping, and then we had to burn it in the wintertime. It saved a lot of time. I think since we talked about Hobbs Lane, I believe last year, before we bought this chipper, we was, cutting limbs, a lot of labor. You got your, what we call the lift, up boom
and
mower.
cutting, not the boom mower, but I'm talking about hand cutting with chainsaws.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot, because the boom mower wouldn't, I think they said they hauled 75 dump truck loads of limbs and debris out of there. Now, you just imagine the cost of doing that versus the chipper. Now, we still haul some.
Yeah.
In some cases, if they're big or whatever, but it just saves so much. But that was on Hobbs Lane, actually, where this happened. I think it was 77 loads. Just hard to imagine. So we've got, but I will address that. I don't know if it's a easy fix, a ditch, but, again, there's a lot of ditches that's filled in, silted in, washed out. Pipes need to be replaced. Pipe, we put, I think over in, it might have been on the steel well. What we tried to do, we've blacktop a record number of county roads since I've been judge with this fiscal court, and we've got a very good relationship with, he knows Bobby Joe Lewis, the commissioner, and our relationship with Candy Mastroeni and Jimmy Higdon, and actually Rocky, and then really even the governor, as far as that goes. I see them from time to time, and we've been really good about getting money sent back to us. Like I say, those 4 bridges, $1.5 million, that's just unheard of. I mean, it's great, but you have to go out there and go after it and beat and bang and
Keep asking.
yeah. They said somebody told me the other day, the hardest 2 things you can do. And I said, what's that? Say no and ask for money. I never had a problem with it.
Neither one of them, huh?
I never had a problem with it. So, but we've been very fortunate. We blacktopped a lot more roads in the last, like say, 2 years, going into the 3rd year, and we're applying for probably up over. It could be as much as $2 million coming in. They got a new program, and you have to go through the General Assembly, and it's a program through Bobby Joe and all that, the commissioners, that we can do what we call an 80-20. Now the county will have to have some skin in the game, and I've got the list started, and Brad and we got to get it finished. We can get it in, so it'll happen in the next session. That we're going to try to get. And I feel pretty good that we're going to get quite a bit of it. I don't know how much we'll get, but it just takes a lot. Blacktop is, the expenses are high. So we've got all our roads. I think all our roads overall, and the boom mowing. I'm talking about that. I don't know if you've heard me say it. I probably talked about it. We bought a new boom mower. We got the old one up and running, and I think I'm going to rent a 3rd one to get us caught up, because all the rain we've had is brush, especially you go down in your area, overgrown, the trees and limbs, school buses, and try to get them all. If we never get them to a point where we're caught up, and then we continue, you can do a lot of that in the wintertime. And so it's we've got a lot of projects going on, and it's just safety. Like you said last week, the safety when you get out. I've instructed Brad and them when they get on these county roads, when you get on the entrances of state roads mainly, coming out. I call it the mouth. Try to cut them back a couple 100 feet, because that's where I get a lot of calls here. When you can't get out, they can't see. And not to criticize the state, they just don't have as much equipment. They got a lot more miles of roads than we have. So, and they've got 2-lane roads in a lot of cases. So they got their hands full.
Judge, visual things going on right now is the Justice Center, the parking lot, the landscaping, and all underway apparently. And then of course coming up September 11th, Patriots Day, there will be a celebration out there. It won't be in the right now it says it's going to be close to the new Veterans Park, but it's really looking good, and I know you're excited about that.
Well, we did when I talked to the state over a year ago, and AOC, administrative courts, they pay, the county owns that parking lot and all those buildings and the new courthouse. We actually own title to it, and then all the expenses, we pay them, they reimburse us, maintenance and so on. So I was told we couldn't I want to get it cleaned up because it became an eyesore, and you got all those concrete parking things when they did this 21 years ago, and that's fine, but I got rid of them. Because all they did was hold trash back, the weeds would grow, trying to remove the snow and ice. I mean, it was just a nightmare.
Yeah.
So I said, why do we, that was a design, that's what they did. So we got rid of them. And then, so I got the state approved the sealer and the landscaping. The landscaping just all growed up, and just, as I got looking at that and watching it, and they doing this Veterans Park, I said, man, when they get that finished, if we get ours cleaned up. So they got half of it sealed this past, I think they even worked Saturday. I told Brad he's have to work overtime, his crew, and man, it was hot. They earned their money those 2 or 3 days. Now this week could be a little bit better, but I want to thank the fire department and actually the city, and we took our, what I call our sweeper broom, because there's a lot of silt that was packed in. So we got all that loosened up. And then I asked the city, and they came in with their sweeper vacuum, and they went over it all. And then we had the fire department come in and wash it off. So, I mean, we got that thing about as clean as this counter before we put the sealer down, because if you didn't, it's just going to peel out. So they've really worked hard out there and got that done. So when we get that finished, let's see, Thursday and Friday, I think we'll have the other side done, and we'll be back open sometime next week, and it's really going to look good. But the landscaping won't be done for about another month because it's just too dry. And to get the Veterans Park opened up and tied all together. But that event, a 9/11 event,
Right.
is on the right side of the fire department, right there in that grassy area. And we started that, I guess, since I became judge. We started at 9/11 event, and there's a group that really oversees and does it. I'm just a little piece of the cog. My wife does it, and Candy Mastroni and Kim and some of her supporters. They all oversee that and manage it, and I just show up. So, but it is a good event, really. So I do want to thank the fire department for helping us get that cleaned up out there, and of course the inmate crew and the road department crew, and they've worked hand in hand, and the city, of course. It's worked out pretty good. But I hope by the end of next week, I mean, when you get all that striped and get the landscaping done, it's going to really look good. But we get back to the state, and they said, I couldn't get the money. I said, well, what I said earlier, you can't
Gotta
ask for money is the hardest thing to do, but I haven't had a problem doing it. So we got up to $58,000 that they've awarded to us, and if we do the labor, and the equipment, so that's worked out pretty good. And the old courthouse, that's another sore subject. I got waiting on a permit. Maybe some type of permit from the state, so we'll see how that goes today and tomorrow. Hopefully we can get that started. It was actually ahead of schedule.
It looks like they got the new units up on the roof.
Right, we got them up about 2 weeks ago. We brought them in. We had to shut that lane down and got that up there, and they took that old chute and everything down, trying to get it cleaned up before they have the Bourbon Festival. We'll make sure all the outside's cleaned up and everything looks good. We got to do a little bit more of the landscaping, spruce it up, and try to get that cleaned up for that big event happens. And so that'll turn out good. It won't be long. They'll have the weather when they have the Bourbon Festival. They have the what do they call that, Main Street, downtown when they have that event, and then you'll have the
Cheers to Bardstown.
Cheers to Bardstown. That'll be coming up, and then you have the festival. That's in, when is it, October or? Probably.
Well, let's see. September's the Cheers to Bardstown Bourbon Festival. Then we have the Craft Beer Festival coming up. That's also downtown at the Farmers Market. So got a few of those things.
But then you have the big one.
The Arts and Crafts.
Arts and Crafts Fair. Oh my goodness, they bring people from everywhere.
Shame on me for not preparing.
That's big. I mean, there's a lot of things going on, and
I'm gonna put Keith on the spot. I'm kidding, but reflect back. Why did you decide to run for office? 14 years ago or longer?
Be 15.
15 years ago when you decided, or 16?
Well, I was getting tired of my job, and I was wanting to retire, and I had some of my stuff paid for, and I just wanted to come back to Covertown, New Haven, Nelson County, I guess you'd say. I worked in Jefferson and Oldham County most of my life. And somebody asked me to run for magistrate, and I looked at them pretty much cross-eyed, and I said, why would I want to do that? And they said, I think you'd be good at it. And I said, well, name one thing you think I'd be good at that. And they said, Keith, you got a big mouth. I kind of shuffled my shirt, and I said, well, that's what it takes. Maybe I might be good at it. Maybe I can be like Tim Hutchins. He always spoke his piece. And, when I first got in there, I was wanting to solve the world, I guess, and try to change this and try to change that. Well, I learned to become a listener. I wasn't a real good listener back then. And, when people had a problem, they wanted you to listen to them. And I'd always kind of interrupt them or whatever, but I'll have to say, since I've become magistrate, that I think I have become a better listener, or I hope I have anyway. And I like to help. I really do like to help, and I'm honored to have this position to help Nelson County to make it look as beautiful as it is, and wanting people. I want my kids. I've got all 4 of my kids back here in the state of Kentucky. I've got 3 of them in Nelson, but one of them just came back from Virginia, so at least she's in Kentucky. And I just want everybody to, to feel comfortable here and raise their family here and be a beautiful place. That's what I want. I guess that's why I want to help and do, just make it be a good place to live.
What was your background before you retired?
Well, I actually was a footer guy. I poured footers for a basement wall crew for about 30 years. I worked for 3N Concrete, and they was all Culvertown boys, and they come to me one day and asked me to go to Louisville, and I got down there pouring. I used to pour flat work, basement floors and driveways and stuff, and they asked me to pour footers, and I said, well, I'll go down there, and if y'all get behind, I'll come down there and help you. Well, I kind of liked the job, and I did it for about 30 years, and had a good living, and met a lot of great people along the way, seen some very beautiful homes being built, and I've been blessed. I've got my health, and I've just been blessed, and
I knew you had a construction background. I didn't know exactly specifics.
that's what it was. Yeah, I sell my broken fingers, crooked fingers, but I'm honored to be here, and thank Nelson County, and thank all the constituents. And any way we can help, you holler at us, Tim or I, either one, we'll help in any way we can.
Yeah, we've got a good fiscal court together, and everybody's been working hand in hand. And somebody said the other day, one of the office people was talking about the magistrates I said, well, have y'all got any emails from anybody or questioning anything on the agenda or some of the items I've got on it? And they said no, and I said, well, maybe it's a good thing. Hopefully they got confidence in me and everything's running pretty good. So that's one way I guess I'd take it. I said I'll take it as a compliment. I was talking to another guy the other day. I called, checked on him. He's an older gentleman and been a good friend of mine forever, and he had a little bit of health problems, and he said, Judge, he said, I haven't heard any complaints, so if I don't hear any complaints, that's a good sign. I said, well, that's good news to me. So I don't really get too many complaints, to be quite honest. I get some occasionally, but usually most people have been very supportive. We've got, I think we have made some changes since I came in and got more aggressive, and a lot of ordinances we've cleaned up and upgraded, and and I think we've got a whole lot better response times and attitudes, and people responding to the constituents, and I just feel good about it, and I think it's been good, and all the departments in most cases are working together pretty good. So but there's always a lot of challenges, and when you get into traffic and emergencies, you take what's happened with Boston, especially New Haven. But Boston, we had, 66 people that we had to rescue, and 50-something homes that people had to move out of, and you just try to do whatever we can to help them. And I think our team did an excellent job, and the state and everybody came together and did an excellent job. Now, I'm gonna put out a survey here soon, just to see at this level, because I'm not happy with FEMA. I'll just be, and they know it, and everybody up there knows that they've had meetings and meetings and meetings and meetings and meetings, and I've never seen them so many meetings in my life. I know you got to have some, and my goodness, and if it's, to me, our end, it wasn't our end, it was some of the people on that level, and you've heard me say it on here before, and when people's out of their homes, and they can't move in, and they got to wait and wait and wait, that's pretty frustrating.
Yeah.
So, but I think over our team, I'm gonna put a survey out and see what could we do different to make it better, and that way we can always try to improve on everything we're doing. You haven't had any phone calls today.
No, not yet.
348-2222.
And that'll text or phone us.
Like I've said on here many times, is try to anybody like this lady or whoever, it's a lady or man from Hobbs Lane as an example, and we've had several. I encourage everybody to just call. The simplest way to do it is call the office 348-1800, and then Madison or somebody in the office will pick up and get the message to the right department, even if it's on the state road, a city road issue, county issue, whatever, we'll get it to the right people. That's what we try to do as much as anything, because a lot of people don't know who to call. I mean, I get it. And some people don't know if the road is really a state road or a county road. When you get out in these rural secondary roads, and if you don't do it every day, you don't know. So.
Yeah, I've got a real good working relationship with the state. There's a guy that works there. His name is Steve Pennington. And Timmy was just talking about when you come, a county road comes up to a state road, he likes opening up that mouth where you can see. Well, I just had an example in Culvertown there at Culver's Lane, and the county came out and took all the brush back, and they brought the chipper out and widened it way up. Well, I seen the state boys on 31E there in Balltown. I said, hey, can y'all run that thing on out Culvertown and do Culver's Lane for me to get them trees back? And Steve ran it right out there like a day later and straightened it all up and made it a whole lot safer, So little things like that, that weighs on people's mind. And I get it. If I had to pull out of there every day with my family, I'd want it as safe as I could have it too. And that's what we're here for. We're here to make everything as safe as we can and be as pleasant as we can. The world's running 99 miles an hour. A lot of people complain about the speed limit, that people's doing this and people's doing that. Everybody's behind. Everybody's got somewhere to be and somewhere to go. And we get it. And we do try to slow the traffic down, and we want to slow it down. We want it just safe, And any little thing, if we can cut one tree down and open up vision and save that family from being in the hospital, nobody likes being in the hospital. So anything like that we can do, and we'll try our best to get it done.
So I go back to these bridges, you don't really, that's when you start getting a few complaints about traffic delays and detours when you're fixing a road or a bridge and you have to go around a little bit longer now. I don't know if Spencer Manley Lane, I didn't talk to Brad about it last night. I think it's still closed. They had to repair a gas line under the road, and it was still closed up through yesterday. I think they claim hopefully they get it open by this Friday, which is coming into a holiday weekend, or Thursday. But if you don't fix it, you've got, you could possibly have an explosion. They run some kind of when they test these lines, I think that's the LG&E line, and by policy they have to go through and check them and run, cameras and things, and if they find a weak spot, how they do it, they must be pretty good at it, that they maybe air test, but if there's a weak spot, then they need to go in and fix it and repair it. In this case, part of it comes up under the road, so, and I know it makes it difficult. You got to go in and come around, and even it's not funny, but even at the new courthouse where we sealed that blacktop, I went up there, like I say, I was in Knoxville Saturday and Sunday for a volleyball tournament, and Friday evening for my youngest daughter, and then so I came in and checked it Monday. I came out there and checked it, and of course we got the barriers up, and I seen this lady pull up, and you could just see her facial expressions, and
she was behind. She
wasn't happy, and she had to back up and turn around. And I understand it. You try to get the message out. We put it on the media, and so I tell them, don't blame me, blame Rolf. He's the one's got to get the message out. But I get it. You got some more text, I think, coming in, and
oh yeah. Hang on, let's see if I can swing around here. In order, Highway 49 needs white stripes on the shoulders. I think we've got good yellow stripes now. I was down that way a couple of times, but
they re-blacktop all the way out to the bridge.
Avon Poco Bridge.
And I haven't been actually out there because that's a state road, whoever this is, and that striping, I don't know if they're going to stripe the sides or not. I'm assuming it's got a stripe down the center, but as far as the side striping, they don't do all of them that way. And will they do that one? I don't know, but I will request it and I will check it out. Okay. But I definitely cannot promise it because we can't physically go out there and do it ourselves. I'm working on Mary's Run and some other roads that's under the county side there, but we're still very limited in what we do because of the cost factor. But
I'm sorry.
And roads have to be so wide too.
That's what I was saying.
I told you that earlier before, yeah.
Next up, Templin Avenue or Lane is a mess, and the way they took hunks out of the beginning of Shannon Drive is awful, and Big Rock is rough on your car to drive through. They need to spread the rock out better. Templin is in the city, or that's a state road, right? That's a highway. Yeah.
Well,
and of course that's
where they're doing the work out there, and they got those big number 3s in there when they come up when they put that base down, I know what they're saying. I went out there and looked at it.
That's the rock, the number 3.
The big ones, yeah, and that makes
They're
it
about 3 inches and
and it is rough. But I don't know if I could get them to put some dense grade on top of it or not. I will attempt it. I don't know what's in the bid. When they bid that project, they're really close to getting that section done on that end.
That's what I was going to say. It's
Yeah, that section on that end is very close to being opened up, completely opened up.
which
So,
is behind schedule, but at least there's maybe a light at the end of that.
yeah, they got behind some,
tunnel.
but they've had so much rain.
Yeah.
Early in the year. I mean, I think they did an excellent job on it. But I know, and when it gets back to the design, what happened before me and how they lined it all up and everything. So it's definitely going to be less traffic up there because they're going to close the end coming in off then what used to be Holt's Campground. I'll check on that rock for whoever this is.
Okay. Next up, where are we with agritourism and religious tourism? With the Bourbon Festival coming up, we know the bourbon tourists will be here, but what other avenues and plans are being made for other types of tourism? Has anything been done on these other types of tourism that comes from Mary Ann in Boston?
Well, I've had, if you talk about the agritourism in the convention center and the project at the fairgrounds, and we've really put a lot of time in on that. I've had multiple meetings and working with the state now on they call it K-Card, Kentucky Ag, whatever, and they're developing a financial plan, and they don't charge. It's a free service to the county, and working on that now, and it continues to grow and build. We've got different divisions that want to come out there, and like I say, when the schools approached me, trying to get the Agri-Science Center, and when we developed that thing, and the agritourism, which tourism people, there's so many facets of this. You'd have to, if you're going to draw people in that, I think I've said on here before, and I've talked. Now I don't have direct control over the tourism, just to let these people know. And I work hand in hand with them, and I've got a very good relationship with them, and I've built that. I talked to Stacy, the director, yesterday. Matter of fact, she's in Miami recruiting right now and getting these tour buses and things. If you notice, we've got more and more tour buses, and she's really worked hard and got a lot more activity. Now, the religious tourism, I don't think that they went to the next step because they probably going to have to increase their staff somewhat because that's what we're remodeling the downstairs, bottom floor of the courthouse, because they can expand. They've been down there for years, and at the end of the day, with the growth, they're just out of room. So I would assume, and I spoke to them about this, and like I said, when you got the Gethsemane, which is in his district, and they have all the retreats that they have, and you got Sisters of Charity out here on Louisville Road. We got 2 religious entities in this county
And a cathedral.
and the cathedral that you don't. I would say no other county in the state has that. So again, not to blame in the past, but I think that's another expansion they can do and really grow that. And we pretty much know that they can do that. But it's going to take more bodies and more contacts and more communication and more. They got to go in all these. When they go out and do all these, like she's doing in Miami, you got to meet with all these different convention people and bring them in. So I think you're definitely going to see a lot of growth there. And what happens when you do that, it's kind of a two-pronged thing. So people stay in these motels, and when they do this traveling, and that's the motel tax that locals don't pay. That's what I like about it. It's not being paid by local people. It's a tax that's been paid for, and all that money goes back to the tourism they can promote, and it's a lot of jobs. Like I was telling you the other day, we've got 3, 4, 5 restaurants going up, 2 car washes, you got Stockyards Bank, and maybe another coffee shop, and you got, I think, and then you got 2 hotels, one that's open, another one being built, I think another one's being planned, and that creates a lot of jobs. You got administrative jobs, it's pretty high paying jobs, and you got a lot of other jobs that...
you got the construction jobs, the
jobs.
the electrical people, the framers, the concrete. I mean, it creates a lot of jobs.
They're trying to bring you out of retirement, huh?
Yeah, I doubt that.
Yeah, it's but anyway, so there's a lot of things. But going back to that direct answer, there's I think you'll see the momentum growing in that, and the agritourism side, it's very complicated, and we're going to have the state's going to have to help us out there. You know, we can go in and probably do some things starting out at the infant stages when I talk about the fairgrounds, and it's really unlimited. I mean, so many tractors pull. Like I said, I'll be here all day. I'll probably bring in, maybe get on that subject pretty detailed one day. There's so many opportunities we can do for the families.
Keith's got one in his district.
Yeah,
Boone's Country Pumpkins.
Yes, and I've also got another one, just the Tucker girl.
Yep. FO 49.
Yeah, 49. She's doing an ag tourism thing at her farm.
Right.
I seen her advertising on Facebook. I don't know, a month or two ago.
Yeah, she's Leslie. She's
yeah.
got that up and going, and I think when I know she spoke with some of the people at tourism, which is that's a private thing. It's like Boone's is a private thing, but when you coordinate those together and get to traffic coming through, and hers is more of a historic, I think, the farm side of it a little bit.
Ag side, yeah.
So there's a lot of opportunities there that we can do and communicate and work together on that stuff with the private sector. And I think you'll see, well, it's really, I think it's there's the vision side. If you really look at what they can do, and I think we'll do, but it takes a little bit of time. So a lot of opportunities there for sure.
Next question, who sets the speed limits and references the 245 bypass?
The state will set it on. That will be a state road, and the state will establish those speed limits, and it's based on curves and sight distance, and there's a big formula they go by.
Did counties set their own speed limits on county?
The counties, the ordinance. I guess there's an ordinance somewhere that says, traditionally they're 35. When I was a magistrate for all those years, it was, I'm not sure if it was in writing, but it was just well known that what I call a traditional county road, let's say Stonehouse Road, 35, subdivisions 25. That was and I'm not sure if that's 100% in writing, but that's just
I think it is. But since then, we can lower the speed limit on some roads as long as the people on the road want to do it and show reason for it to be done. Then it has to go through fiscal court, and we all have to vote on it to lower it to 25 or 15. Some of our county roads don't have turnabouts at the end of it, and most of them do. And we've got a few we still need to do a turnabout on it. But we can set that on a county road, but nothing to do with the state road.
State, okay.
Or city.
Next up, can you hear me okay when I'm speaking away from you?
Oh, I'm good, yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. I may have just about put a party line out. There it is. I live about a mile out of town on Boston Road and needed some items picked up, and I called the state department. They said call the county. No one wants to pick it up. I know the city goes out to the Parkway, New Haven. My question is, where do I call? And
The pickup.
items. I mean, yeah.
I don't know what.
I guess she's talking about bulky item pickup, something bigger than what would go in a garbage truck.
I'm guessing, but
You don't have an address?
no. It has a phone number, but we won't give that on the air. But
I'll call when I
if
get
this
off
person
here.
will send us an address that sent that.
You did get a phone number?
I will have one, yes, sir.
I'll get the phone number. I'll call
Okay.
them here when I get off. And
Okay.
what happens, some people get a little confused. The city has, if you're in the city limits, it's one of their services, and you have to, I think, call in, and maybe every week or two they'll come around and pick up as people on demand, I guess you would say. And then the county, we do the bulky item, and we do it early in the spring, late winter, early spring, and we go around and, there's 48,000 people in the county, and we have about 13,000 customers as far as what I say garbage customers, which that's about 13,000 residents or so, and we don't have what I call the on-demand garbage pickup. But in some cases, it depends on, like, we send the inmates out where people have dumped, let's say accidentally dumped, something fell off the back of the truck and in the middle of the road or a ditch, and then we'll send the inmate crew out and pick it up because we want to keep the county clean. So I'll call and find out what's going on here.
Don't county residents get one free admission, I call it that, to the landfill a year or two?
Two passes free a year that they can take.
You gotta have to have the mode to get the stuff there. But
Yeah, and if they need more than that, like if they're tearing down their old house, and the judge will work with them on that and help them, the best we can.
Next up, are there any plans to blacktop or fix Highway 457 Holy Cross Road before you get to Clarktown Road? It's falling apart.
457.
That's a state road. If it's a number, that's a state road.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm not sure. I'd have to check with the state on that. I don't know if that's a rural secondary road.
That's a rural secondary road.
Because Howardstown Road, I told you before, from I guess it's 52 all the way to Howardstown, we've got that approved. When I worked with Brad Bottoms and the engineers out of the state, we took that, what we call the gas tax money formula, and agreed to work with them. Fiscal court approved. We're going to blacktop that whole road, which is that's the worst road in the county by far. And we were going to do it in phases, but we're going to do that whole road, which is very, very important, which is in his district. And you said 457.
457 Holy Cross Road before you get to Clark Road.
I have to check on
Clarktown Road.
Clarktown Road.
I'll have to check on that because I know there is
That's
some
coming out of New Hope, yeah.
rural secondary roads. We have a few more. 509 down my way is getting in bad shape, and we're trying to, it's a different pool of money, and trying to get the.
Speaking of a reminder, before we go today, of course, this show is sponsored by Joe Hill's Power Sports and Area 1 Realty, but a reminder of your fiscal court meeting tonight.
Tonight, 6 o'clock, and I want to say I haven't talked to Kevin Rogers or Bill Shekels or some of the people down at when they had their buttermilk days. And I was attempting to go down. I try to go every year, and I usually do. I was actually going to try to, but when they moved this volleyball tournament, I didn't get to go. I was going to tell them I'm apologizing publicly because I couldn't go because we had was in Knoxville for this volleyball tournament all weekend. But I was told yesterday it's probably the biggest crowd they've ever had. Said it turned out really, really nice. So I want to thank everybody that in that group that helped put that together because I know firsthand it takes a lot of work. And they did a good job as far as I was told. Everybody did a great job, so I want to publicly thank them.
Yeah, I need to apologize too. I didn't make it this year neither due to some things that's going on in my life, but I'll make it next year.
All right, Ross, I guess we're about to wrap up, and I'm going to say thank you to Area 1 Realty, Mike and Kathy Bowden and their team, Joe Hill's Power Sports, for sponsoring the show. Anybody can call anytime. If you got any, I'll follow up on all these things that people send in. But I encourage everybody to call 348-1800 anytime to leave us a message or a complaint or compliment maybe. I wouldn't mind getting one of them, But really, if you got something going on, we could try to help get it to the right people and get it fixed. So thank y'all. Thank Ross. Thank you, Keith, for coming on.
I'd like to say thank you too. Thank you, WBRT, for doing what you did, and the sponsors, Joe Hill and Area 1. And thank you, Judge, for inviting me. I was a little nervous about getting on here, but it's turned out to be okay. So thank you all, Nelson County.
We're glad to have you. And Judge, before we go, Keith, anything jump out that's on the agenda for tonight's meeting?
We're going to lower the tax rate. I think it's established at 12. We could have kept it at 12 based on the state law without having a recall, but we're going to lower it to 11.8. I think that's what we said. We agreed to 11.8, which is going to leave. I know when people get their tax bills and try to explain it and understand it, but when we lower it, we could have kept it at 12. We started out at 13.7 2.5 years ago. Then we went down to 12.7. Then we went to 12. Now we're going to 11.8. And I would say when you get your tax bill, look at the piece on there that says county government. Mm-hmm. And it's not very much considered a lot of the other ones. And we got to make it work. We're using all of our emergency services and everything. So it's tough, but we want to try to keep it as low as possible. I think this court understands that, and that's what we want to do.
Thank you very much, and we'll do this again next week around the county with Judge Executive Tim Hutchins.